A summer afternoon at Broadhall Way. The football merry-go-round starting with a pre-season friendly against Peterborough. And there were great expectations for Stevenage Borough players, management and supporters. The previous season had ended on a high, but Peterborough United showed Football League pedigree, scoring goals and giving Stevenage some indication of the battles that lay ahead. The goals came to the Posh, who'd made the short trip down the A1, but Paul Fairclough had already made clear what he was interested in was the opening day's Vauxhall Conference game, that against Bath City, and everything that happened between now and then should be regarded as educational. But above all, for the Borough supporters, the sight of most of the players that had done so well in the final weeks of the previous campaign buoyed everybody's spirits, even if the actual result on the day didn't. The first penalty award of the season, not one that was greeted with any great favour by Broadhall Way's faithful, and Peterborough United went home comfortable winners. But the real battle for Stevenage was in the weeks that lay ahead. In the second half, Stevenage showed they were a force to be reckoned with at any level going forward. Tony Lynch seizing a loose ball and charging into the 18-yard box. Down he went. Penalty to the Borough. A clear-cut decision, no possible dispute, and the Borough's first goal of the campaign. Gary Crawshaw from the penalty spot. But Peterborough weren't to be done with in a match where, in the words of Paul Fairclough, the performance was what mattered. Posh continued to push forward with some purpose, and Borough again given a lesson in defending as Posh extended their advantage. The second pre-season game was against Chelsea, and the Premiership side brought several of their well-known stars to Broadhall Way. Stevenage's well-known star Barry Hayles helped himself, and the Borough were in front. Chelsea stung into action, but in the second half, pushing men forward at will, stretched the Borough defence, and the rear guard got itself into a real tangle. Chelsea level at 1-1. That was only to spur the Borough into more action. Help yourself. 2-1 Stevenage. And Chelsea stung by the Borough, and Kenny Webster trying to put over a cross as Borough continued to push forward and showed real signs of the sort of teamwork and togetherness that would be a hallmark of what was to follow. More good work by Stevenage. 3-1. First day of the season saw victory against Bath, and by the time Telford came to Broadhall Way for the fourth match of the season, Stevenage were on top. But Telford were to prove a real thorn in Stevenage's side. They'd won their first 3 matches, the Borough. Telford, though, with Tim Langford in great form, proved to be their undoing. It was Langford's goal to send Stevenage tumbling to their first defeat of the season for all the pressure that Borough could throw at them. Webster's long ball just typical of it. Venables trying to get in behind. For all Stevenage's efforts going forward, Tony Lynch playing over a cross again. The header just over the top. It was Stevenage Borough's defeat, and Telford won by 1-0. Although Borough's late pressure gave all the fans hope that they might finally snatch an equalising goal. Sodje going wide with one header, Tony Lynch pulling the ball back across the face of the goal. Sodje headed against the bar, and away it went. The referee was having none of it. Telford United had the points. Few will forget the visit of Kettering Town. On an absolutely soaking night, the Borough were rampant. Help yourself to the first goal, Mark Smith. As the Kettering defence waited and waited, and Smith needed no second invitation to put them in front. Crawshaw fed back to Mitchell. Borough continued to press forward at every opportunity as the rain continued to teem down. A serious accident had delayed many of the Kettering players, even reaching Broadhall Way. Some of them probably wished they'd never made it at all. Gary Crawshaw helped himself to a superb strike, and following up in behind him was Paul Barrowcliff to make it 2-0. Nothing went right for Kettering Town. They did manage to get themselves one goal to get them back into contention. But that was only to spur Stevenage on to even better things in the second half. They didn't even need that long, though, to re-establish their 2-goal advantage. Again, the Kettering defence all over the place. Penalty, said referee Green. And Gary Crawshaw helped himself. In the second half, the same old story. Kettering unable to control Stevenage's forward runs. Gary Crawshaw, supply line, and the 4th goal, an absolute peach. They were without Barry Hayles, and it didn't show. Sean Marshall getting on the end of a great drive across, following up Corey Brown's earlier strike. Kettering Town went home on the wrong end of a 5-1 scoreline. The visit of Staines in the FA Cup produced Stevenage against Theodora League opposition. Staines did their best, but their best was never going to be good enough against a side that was in good form from the start. Tony Lynch volleying in early, and once Stevenage got themselves in front, they always looked capable of adding more goals. The second of them, again set up by Lynch, playing the ball forward, and the second strike, a successful one, eventually coming the way of Gary Crawshaw after Lynch had gone down under a challenge and the referee had said penalty. Up stepped Crawshaw. The old familiar routine. Borough were in the 4th qualifying round and an away tie at Aylesbury United. It finished 2-0, but Scott Cretton had other ideas, lobbing just over the top. A young man who was to make a bigger impression later in the season. Stevenage went into their match against Welling in mid-table, but it was to turn out to be a very good night for the Borough. 3 against 1 surely produces goals. This time was no exception, and it was Barry Hayles who got the first goal. Kenny Webster's strike, one of the best goals of the season, was an illustration that visiting defensives give away free kicks against Stevenage in and around their box at their peril. Into the second half, and the goals continued to flood. The 3rd goal, Tony Lynch's corner, knocked down, clean as you like, and Corey Brown it was who got the final touch. Welling for a moment thought that they might start a comeback, getting themselves one back, But Boro weren't finished yet. Because they were spurred on to even bigger feats at the other end. Barry Hayles winning the ball down the right, playing over the cross, just waiting and waiting and waiting. Help yourself, Mr. Paul Barrowcliff. Stevenage 4, Welling United 1. Boro found it easy to score goals, as Northwich found to their cost. Ball played across, referee spots the foul. Gary Crawshaw from the penalty spot once more. 1-0 Stevenage. Stevenage were finding goals easy to come by, and although Barry Hayles was getting his share, they were being spread around. But at the other end, Northwich Victoria did find themselves back on level terms from a set piece. Stevenage is marking pause for Paul Fairclough to ask questions, but he had no questions to ask of another splendid attacking display. Kenny Webster supplying the cross, the cue at the far post, Efe Sodje off the bar, and coming in behind, big number 5, Mark Smith. Stevenage 2, Northwich Victoria 1, and it shortly became Stevenage 3, Northwich Victoria 1. Kenny Webster, Corey Brown. Corner to Stevenage, floated across. Again, the defence caught napping, this time Gary Crawshaw's header after Sodje had won it. 3 became 4 shortly afterwards. The Stevenage found more holes in the Northwich defence than in an average-sized pack of a well-known brand of mint. Tony Lynch down the left. Again, the defence napping, and again an opportunity falling the way, this time of Corey Brown. And the 5th goal came in the second half. Everybody thought it wasn't to be Barry Hayles' afternoon. We should have known better. Hayles showing some real delightful skills. And the Boro went nap. 2 home games in a week, 9 goals scored. Stevenage up to 6th. For the first time in their history, Boro found themselves in the FA Cup first round. A trip to Hereford United, who neighbours Hitchin had put out of the cup the previous season. Gary Crawshaw's goal will be long remembered by the Stevenage faithful who made their way to Edgar Street. It was one of those special scrapbook moments. But in the second half, Hereford United found holes in the Stevenage defence. The first goal to tie the match up set us up for a grandstand finale. Boro felt, as did their supporters, that they'd done at least enough to take the match back to Broadhall Way. But right at the death, Lady Luck wasn't on their side. Hereford, despite pleas for offsides, got a second goal that counted. Stevenage were out. By the time Bromsgrove Rovers arrived at Broadhall Way, Stevenage had beaten last year's champions Macclesfield in another demolition job by 4 goals to 0. Bromsgrove, though, were to provide a real threat. Not before one of the best goals that Broadhall Way will see in a long time had sent Stevenage on their way. A splendid strike by Paul Barrowcliff. Boro looked to be cruising in the rain. Kenny Webster knocked the ball across. Again, they couldn't clear their lines. Tony Lynch helped himself. 2-0 Stevenage. Bromsgrove, though, had looked a menace going forward. Stevenage's defence was stretched, and Bromsgrove find themselves back in the game. 2-1 down. Conditions weren't perfect by a long way. Mistakes and goals looked inevitable. Stevenage continued to push forward. Kenny Webster's throw sets up another Boro attack. Venables, Webster, throw in once more. This time plan B, the longer throw. Help yourself, Barry Hayles, 3-1. But this was not to be the day when Boro could turn the screw. The 3 points looked to be theirs, but in the gathering gloom, a difficult surface, difficult conditions, Bromsgrove kept their feet and their heads, and Stevenage suddenly saw a winning position ebb away. Bromsgrove's second goal set up a real grandstand finale. But once again, it was the Worcestershire club who profited from mistakes at the back. Referee said penalty. Stevenage suddenly saw the prospect of a home win disappear as Bromsgrove levelled it at 3-3. Boro, though, desperately searched for a winning goal. They thought they'd got it when, in controversial circumstances for a foul, it was disallowed. A point apiece in a 3-3 draw, and everyone glad to get in the bath. And so to Essex, to a midweek game against Dagenham and Redbridge, the Boro starting in 4th place. Barry Hayles going off like a scalded cat, seeing an effort cleared off the line. Hayles' persistence, though, eventually almost coming to fruition as the Dagenham goalkeeper at full stretch denied him. Venables, setting up another Stevenage Borough attack, found the space for Kenny Webster. Webster's lob forward, this time landing for Corey Brown, and eventually the chance went begging. But Stevenage again pushed forward. Lynch setting up the opportunity, and another good stop from Sean Marshall's effort. And so to the second half. Kenny Webster setting up another Stevenage attack. Down under challenge went Barry Hayles. Referee says penalty. Steve Berry, the man handed the responsibility from the spot kick. And the goalkeeper makes the save. Maybe it wasn't to be the Borough's night. And as Dagenham pushed forward, there was an even bigger feeling it wasn't going to be Stevenage's night for all their possession. The Daggers in desperate trouble at the wrong end of the table ahead, but not for the first time this season, undone by the wicked right boot of Mr. Kenny Webster. Sweet as a nut, smashed into the net. Boro from a free kick, level at 1-1. And then they proceeded to add insult to injury. Barry Hayles. The points were Stevenage's. By the time Farnborough visited Broadhall Way, the championship race was opening up. Stevenage found themselves in second place in the table, pushing for points that could see them get themselves at the top. But this was to be a frustrating afternoon. Chances were created, but the Boro weren't able to take them. It finished 0-0, but in terms of possession, the Boro had plenty. Venables working down the right, the cross coming in, and when it doesn't go in and you meet a volley of legs like that, there isn't an awful lot you can do about it. Lynch's corner, another opportunity. Peter Sodje's head, not able to get the ball in the right direction. Down it goes, and away once more. For Stevenage, this was to be one of the frustrating afternoons of the season. Another corner, another opportunity. Defending in numbers gave Farnborough Town a point. Halifax Town arrived at Broadhall Way just 5 days later, and they were to be outdone by the Dave Venables show. A good save from Richard Wilmot. The Stevenage were forced to defend from a corner from an early Halifax advance. But they did so to some purpose. Some of the goals that have been going against them in the early part of the season had given Paul Fairclough just a little cause for anxiety, even though they've been scoring at will. But the prize of a clean sheet and a victory is to turn this into a very important afternoon. The good catch by Richard Wilmot, the long ball forward, and Barry Hayles twists and turns, drives the ball across, and Dave Venables helps himself. The Borough in front. More Borough pressure gave Halifax another opportunity to have their defence split. A perfect ball. Venables helps himself. 2-0 Borough. They nearly added to it in the second half on several occasions. This is just one of the opportunities where Halifax rode their luck, but it didn't get them any reward. In the FA Trophy, the road to Wembley opened with a home game against Dagenham and Redbridge. It was to turn out to be an excellent contest. Dagenham, still smarting from the home defeat, took themselves into the lead. Borough had real hopes of reaching Wembley in the competition, with Dagenham certainly having one eye on trying to avoid the drop from the Vauxhall Conference. People thought they'd be otherwise occupied. Some great skills, though, by Tony Lynch. And it was Sean Marshall who got the first goal. Borough again pushed forward in numbers. Lynch down the flank. Step forward for the second goal. Mr. Dave Venables. 2-1 to Stevenage. And in conditions bordering on the desperate, another opportunity, another header, another goal. The third Stevenage strike from Sean Marshall. It looked to have made it safe, but in a furious finale, as you'd expect in a game of this nature, Dagenham took another opportunity in the hope that they might try and seize an opportunity of an equalising goal by making it 3-2 with a really splendid long-range effort. But it wasn't enough. And so back to conference action and the visit of Runcorn. Chance for Venables. Runcorn at the moment try and build down the flank if they can. And Sodje hasn't found the targets, and Borough with a problem. Runcorn taking the lead. They're really fired up, having lost 8-0, of course, at Canal Street. Stevenage corner coming in. Oh, and the goalkeeper! Barry Hayles gets the equaliser, and the goalkeeper will not be happy with that at all. And the jump finds Barrowcliff. Is Smith playing the ball in. Runcorn defence is at best adequate at this stage of the proceedings. Steve Berry knocked forward again for Barry Hayles. An opportunity. Thank you very much, says Tony Lynch. And the early trauma is over. I really feel that goals might matter in the end. They really need to add to it. Venables. Lynch won it. Barrowcliff hits the bar. It's the post that denied them there. And a clear appeals now for Barry Hayles. And that is agonisingly close to another. Barry Hayles got a hat-trick in that 8-0 demolition job at Canal Street. He's had the chances here to embarrass Runcorn's defence further. Here's Venables. Well worked again down the Stevenage right. Every time they come forward, it's almost as if the Runcorn defence press panic, and they've got cause to press panic. Barry Hayles makes it 3, his second of the afternoon. Now Lynch. And they are absolutely tearing the Runcorn defence apart. Is it hat-trick time? It is! Hayles gets his second hat-trick against Runcorn. 4-1. Stevenage in second place in the conference as their 5th home game in a row brought Burton Albion to Broadhall Way in the second round of the FA Trophy. Stevenage with real hopes of getting a good deal closer to Wembley Way, and those hopes added to as Boro forced themselves into the lead. Dave Venables helping himself with a splendid right-footed effort. It was 1-0 at half-time. It was 2-0 in the second half. Another splendid run by Barry Hayles. It did look as though the Staffordshire club's hopes had gone for a Burton. Just before their obituaries were written, they did grab themselves a late goal. No more than a consolation. So back to the conference and a trip to Welling United, who'd been on the wrong end of a heavy defeat at Broadhall Way and looked set to be on the wrong end of another one as Tony Lynch put them in front. Welling were another side involved too close to the foot of the table for comfort. Stevenage's hopes of exploiting them again rested on the pace of Tony Lynch and the skills of Barry Hayles from an acute angle. 2-0 to the Boro. Kenny Webster setting them up once again. An attacking option which the advancing Tony Lynch was able to convert into the third goal. Another comprehensive victory. And the goal tally was rising. Gateshead will be no pushovers, said Paul Fairclough before the northeastern side came to Broadhall Way. And how right he was to turn out to be. They certainly weren't overawed by Stevenage's fast-growing reputation. And in the first half, when Gateshead certainly played some of the better football, Boro caught in defence as Gateshead given too long on the ball, and there was nothing that Richard Wilmot could do as Gateshead took the lead. Into the second half, a Tony Lynch corner, and Barry Hayles and Mark Smith between them couldn't convert. Webster, Venables cross, this time another driving opportunity for Robbie Mutchell to try and build another attack down the Stevenage left side. And as the cross came in, Venables knocked it back, and Corey Brown scored the goal that by close of business was to take Stevenage Borough to the top of the Vauxhall Conference for the first time since they won at Southport in August. Next, Hednesford Town. The dark horses many people had believed in the promotion stakes, and the competition had begun in August. Tony Lynch trying a long-range effort, and on a difficult pitch in difficult conditions, snow having just been cleared off it. One moment of magic was to settle it. Barry Hayles. Who else? Hednesford fought like tigers. Stevenage, though, did go close to adding to their tally. that one Hayles goal was to be enough. The bookmakers' response to seeing Stevenage at the top of the table was a substantial cut in their odds on staying there, and the likes of Chairman Victor Green and manager Paul Fairclough, who paid a visit to their local turf accountant as the season started, were beginning to think it was money well spent, even though they had more than a few anxious moments. For the benefit of latecomers, this is the start of Stevenage Borough against Dover Athletic at Broadhall Way. 8 seconds in, Barry Hayles accepts the gift. The fastest goal Broadhall Way has probably ever seen. Stevenage on their way. Kenny Webster wanted to try and top that, and his determined effort eventually fell for Barry Hayles, despite the fact the conditions nearly thwarted Borough's top scorer. Dover, under Peter Taylor's management, had picked themselves up after a shocking start to the season. They had looked relegation certainties at one stage, and the handball in the Stevenage box gave Dover the chance from the penalty spot to get back into the game. It was a chance they gratefully accepted. Stevenage had been so fast out of the traps that Dover suddenly found perhaps they were towering in the heavy conditions. And Dover eventually accepted an opportunity by means of a gift to make it 2-2. So, step forward Paul Fairclough, substituting Sean Marshall, and seeing the number 12 arrive on the scene, he replaced Tony Lynch and grabbed a priceless winner. Away from home, Borough's form had been tremendous. No more so than this superb display against Slough Town at Wexham Park. The opportunities arrived and were taken almost at will. That one from Corey Brown. Meanwhile, goalkeepers don't watch that. How not to take a kick under no pressure. The response from Corey Brown, rubbing his nose in it. 2 goals for Brown. Stevenage storming on. It wasn't going to get any better for the Slough Town goalkeeper. Referee says foul. Penalty to Stevenage. Kenny Webster, thank you very much indeed. Stevenage go marching on. But Slough also found holes in the Stevenage defence. This was to be a game that the Slough faithful would talk about for a long time, as it was to produce a total of 8 goals. What they wouldn't have been happy about is that they conceded 6 of them. Every time the Borough went forward, the opportunities seemed to come their way. But Slough too found unexpected holes in the Borough's defence. The conference leadership, though, was never in doubt on this Tuesday night, as Stevenage in the second half cut loose again, almost at will. Slough giving the ball away and being made to pay for it. Hayles going forward. Had opportunities, went himself. No doubt about that. And that wasn't the end of the fun. Another ball forward. Another opportunity for the Borough. Paul Barrowcliff, 5. Dave Venables was to add another as it finished 6-2. So to another important test of the leadership. The visit of Kidderminster Harriers. a big test, and one that Mark Smith passed with flying colours. Kidderminster, champions 2 years ago, certainly had ideas of their own. They were on level terms, and the Borough had to move up a gear. Buoyed by a half-time talk from Paul Fairclough, that they most certainly did. Corey Brown, 2-1 Stevenage. They got the business as usual flags out at Broadhall Way. Sodje for Venables. Brown, Venables again. Hayles. And again the floodgates opening. Venables trying to get another one, and all that he could do was set it up for Corey Brown with the help from the Kidderminster keeper. 4-1. There was talk not only of the championship, but of 100 senior goals. And so, to prove it wasn't all right, Dave Venables put Boro in front at Hednesford. But as conditions bordered on the desperate, at the other end, it didn't go right at all. Des Gallagher looks at his defenders and says, where did he come from? Worse was to follow from another set piece. Boro going down to a rare conference defeat, but coming just days after they'd lost at Hyde United in the FA Trophy. One or two questions being asked ahead of the crunch game against Woking, the title showdown. Say that Broadhall Way is absolutely packed. Treble coming across, beautifully taken, and the crucial first strike goes to Dave Venables. Radcliffe's taken it short. Scott threatens cross, Hayles too. The goalkeeper won't be pleased with his contribution. Venables again. Oh, that's a peach, and he's caused trouble in the defence. Can Sodje get on it? He can. 3-0, and Woking can hardly believe what is happening. Good work again by Stevenage, and a peach again sends Dave Venables off on his travels. They're all arriving in the middle. Venables cross, Neil Treble coming in. Is he happy or what? That victory against Woking, to many, made Stevenage odds-on favourites for the title. Stalybridge Celtic provided a real test just days later. Taking advantage of some indecision in the Stevenage defence early, Boro not on their game at all, or so it seemed. Stalybridge went 2 up. A shock seemed on the cards. Time was running out. Stevenage's mettle showed so clearly. Another last gasp effort that could show so much about a team with title credentials. First, it was Barry Hayles. And then, right at the death, the referee having looked at his watch, the goalkeeper flapped, and Stuart Beaver got on the end of it. Rescued 1 point. Victories at Kettering, at Bath, and at Kidderminster set up D-Day against Morecambe. For Stevenage, victory will almost certainly seal the title. But Morecambe pushed and harried and hassled. Stevenage's nerves showed, and Morecambe were in front. Webster, another long one forward, and the vital equalising goal for Stevenage Borough. Corey Brown, they had to wait, but by the time they played Dagenham on Monday, the title was theirs. Again, the players looking to push forward. This, of course, is a vital game for Dagenham as well. Barry. Won by Brown. Might fall now for Paul Barrowcliff, and he's made it! One of the unsung heroes of this Borough side produces a top draw goal. And he did it outside of the foot. Clean as a whistle. And the Borough are in front. They'll want another before the party can start. Referee's taken signals from his linesman. Dagenham trying to play it forward. Chance for the second goal. Hayles goes down, penalty's given. Hayles, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So Steve Berry steps forward. Stevenage Borough win the Vauxhall Conference. Webster, one of the most popular guys in the Borough camp. Bobby Mitchell. What odds would you have got on celebrations like this last August? Very popular Dave Venables, a magnificent servant to the club. Paul Barrowcliff, his goal tonight. So vital. Stuart Beaver. Victor Green, the chairman, Clive Avery, the commercial manager. Dagenham, Smith and Efe Sodje. Stalwart, sterling service. A young man with a very, very big future surely in front of him. Gary Crawshaw. Mark Smith. For many of them, the biggest day of their footballing lives. Vaughan Marshall. Des Gallagher. Barry Hayles receiving the applause. Mayor of Stevenage, Paul Peterson, the assistant manager. And these scenes will surely appear in the boardroom and in all sorts of other places in the months that lie ahead. Victor Green has to decide what he can do to try and force the promotion issue. He's got a team that the whole town can be proud of. And he's got a manager out of the very top draw. It's almost as if his middle name should be Success. And now the celebrations can begin.
We are top of the league, say we are top of the league. Say we are top of the league, say we are top of the league. Say we are top of the league, say we are top of the league.
How then did they do it?
Well, Paul, the trophy's now firmly in your hands. How does it feel to be Vauxhall Conference champions?
Fantastic. It's been great. I mean, it's been a long season, but to win something at the end of it, it makes it all worthwhile.
Has it been a very hard season?
It has at times, yeah. I mean, I think the home games have been easier, but, you know, when we've had the long tracks away from home and, you know, the support's been brilliant. But it has been, yeah, it's a long, hard season.
And there have been some great victories on the way to celebrate. 8-0 against Runcorn, 4-0 against Macclesfield.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the results, we have smashed a lot of sides, you know, even the top sides like Woking, Macclesfield, Kidderminster, we've all knocked 4 past them. So, I mean, we've been flying this season, really. I think we thoroughly deserved it. We got what we deserved.
And what's the secret to Boro's success?
Oh, I've just been asked that a few minutes ago. I would put it down to team spirit and hard work, really. You know, we all work hard for each other, and we've got a great team spirit, good bunch of lads.
Kenny, you've finally done it. You must be as pleased as Punch this evening.
Yeah, it's great news. As I said earlier in the season when I'd done a few interviews, I said that we was good enough to win it. And I feel that we're still good enough to win it, and we've gone on and proved that tonight.
Always believed that Boro had it in them to lift that trophy.
Yeah, there was a lot of doubts. Just after we had a sticky patch where we lost 2 or 3 games, everyone was saying, oh, there could be wobbling on and that, but no, I feel that we was good enough to win it all season, and we proved ourselves right, yes.
And has it been the team spirit or the managerial guidance? What's been the secret this year?
It's been a bit of both, really. I said that there's a lot of pride in the lads, as I say. Like we've gone out, we had targets, we set targets at the start of the season, and now we've achieved them targets, and obviously we've gone on and won the league.
Fair to say, Barry, you exploded onto the scene when you first joined Stevenage Borough, and you've made an even bigger impression this season.
Yeah, very happy at the moment, champions.
Did you really think you'd get so many goals last August?
To be honest, no, but you know, the great players Paul has brought to club has like helped me along. So I'm very happy. Like, yeah.
And has it been the teamwork that's really been the key to Stevenage's success this year?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But strong defence and strikers up front. We make so many chances of that. We just got to score one of them at least.
And you've scored some cracking goals this season. What's been your favourite?
To be honest, I can't remember. I can remember. I reckon Bromsgrove at home, left foot. I'm right-footed, like.
So you mishitted it and then flew into the back of the net?
Yeah, top corner, yeah.
Well, Steve, you were the first man to lift the Vauxhall Conference Trophy as captain of Stevenage Borough. Are you the proudest man at Broad Hallway tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was an honour to lift the cup tonight. We've had a cracking season. We've had a really good team spirit and a good bunch of lads. So, and it was an honour to lift the cup. Yeah.
Now you sort of drifted out of football for a bit. You went off to Hong Kong, still played a bit out there. But did you think you'd come back and have so much success?
I hope to. I wanted to come back. The whole idea of coming back was to get a career outside football, but still to be playing at the top level, part time, if you like. I think I've been so lucky. It couldn't have worked out better for me.
And how does it compare to playing league football?
It's not far off. I think the side that we've had here together would hold its own in the 3rd division. I think you'd be in the top 10 of the 3rd division. The only difference is we haven't probably got the same fitness level and same organisation level, but if you're full-time, you would get that. And with the team that we've got, I think we do well.
Well, Paul, the trophy's now in your hands. The championship's been won. Was it all worth it in the end?
Oh yeah, I mean it's been 10 months since we started back in July, and then to finally get hold of it, pick it up, was one of the greatest moments of my life. I should be a Football League manager now. My players should be Football League players. We're not, and that's, you know, it's a horrible, horrible feeling, David. It's awful.
But do you think, though, that you can maintain the success and then this time next year you'll be saying, well, I am a Football League manager now, we have gone up?
I'm going to have to, aren't I? I haven't got any other options, you know. I mean, I looked at the Scunthorpe thing and I says no, because I love this club. And I'm going to have to, you know, if I want Stevenage Borough to fulfil the dream that we designed 6 years ago, then we've got to go for it, yeah. There is no other way. You know, I looked at it when we won one championship, I thought, well, that's going to be hard. And then we won a second one, I said, well, that's got to be the end of it. And then we win a 3rd championship, I thought, well, surely we've got to settle for that. Then we win a 4th one, and I think, well, hang on, you know, when is it going to end? I don't know. I really don't know where we go and what is round the corner. You know, I've never predicted we're going to win things. I just don't know what's going to happen or where we're going to go. I really don't know.
But isn't that the magical thing about Stevenage Borough, that you never know quite where it is going to end and the potential is there so that it will be an endless story?
I hope so. I mean, you know, if the next 6 years are like the 6 years we've just had, we'll be winning the Premiership in the year 2002.
Would that be the most magical moment for you, snatching the Premiership, maybe a late goal at Anfield?
It would be nice, yes.
And Paul Fairclough's bets. I know you always have a couple of bets at the start of the season. Did you have a bit of money on Stevenage to win the championship?
I had a little flutter, yes. Yeah. Not as much as the chairman.
Paul, well done this season, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, David. Thank you very much.